What's good, YouTube? Akil here, back with another video, and your boy is back from New Orleans. So I got some brand new trip to the thrift for you guys. I actually got a few, so definitely stay tuned for that, and hopefully I'll be way more consistent for the next few weeks, because I'm definitely not going to be taking any more trips, at least until the baby gets here. So if you guys haven't already, make sure that you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, y'all, so we are back in Arizona, so I got a good trip to the thrift for you guys. I decided to look at the walls just to see some of the miscellaneous stuff that they had, and they had some electrical stuff hanging up here, so that was a really nice find. I don't usually check that section, but I came up on this DVI to ADC adapter. This is basically just some older Apple equipment, and anytime I come across older Apple stuff, I usually always pick it up if it's a good price, and this one is thankfully selling for $50, so this was definitely a really good find. Next came up on a set of Beats headphones, and I never find the wireless headphones. I always find the ones that are actually wired headphones, and sometimes the air cups are damaged or maybe one side isn't working. I tested this one in the store because I actually had the little aux cord in my car, so I was able to test this out and it was working just fine. So in order to sell this, I'm just going to go ahead and swap out the auxiliary cord, but that's a really quick little fix there. So I should be able to still sell this for at least maybe 40 to 45 bucks. It doesn't sell for as much as it used to, but still a nice find for $5. Now, it's been a while since I came up on anything Bose related, but this was definitely a really good find. Found this Bose acoustic wave system, and this is basically just like a CD player slash radio, and this is just one of the older ones. If you guys see the back of that tag, it says 1995, so this was in good shape for the age. As you can see, just kind of sun damage, kind of faded there, but really good condition overall. Once I got home and I was able to test this thing out, I realized that the CD player wasn't working, and I probably should have known that the CD player wasn't going to work, because as you guys can see, I was kind of playing with it while I was in the store. But the radio works just fine, and people are getting like $100 for these, even if the CD player isn't working. So I'm definitely still going to grab that up. And here was a Ps4 controller. They actually just put this out on the floor. They were asking $15 for this one, but I was playing around with the buttons, and some of the buttons were kind of jammed, so I didn't even want to take any chances on that. So I ended up just putting that back. And this was an amazing find. This was actually just a karaoke microphone, and this actually had a bunch of adapters on the inside of it. I didn't realize that until I was able to get home, but once I got home and I opened this up, it had like 4 cartridges and like 800 songs, and that actually sold ready for $85. That was a really good find. Next up, I came up on 2 of these Guitar Heroes for the Xbox 360, and these were in really good condition. As you guys can see, I made sure the spring was still springy, because sometimes when I find these, the spring is usually broken, but they actually had some really good prices on these. It was missing the strap, but it is what it is. I'll still sell these without the guitar strap all day long. It does affect the price somewhat. Sometimes I get maybe $5 to $10 less depending on the model of the guitar, but both of these will definitely still bring in a decent amount of profit. Some of these sell anywhere between like $50 to $60. Next up, right next to that, was this Wii Fit Plus board, and this is the only times I usually pick up these Wii Fit Plus boards is when they actually have the box included, because that usually helps me stand out a little better, because these are super saturated online. During the quarantine, when way more people were just sitting at home, these were actually selling a lot faster, but nowadays that, you know, people are out again and gyms are open, these aren't really selling that much. So this is usually the only time that I would actually pick this up. But like I said, since it's so saturated, I ended up just putting it back on the shelf. Here was like I said, more older Apple stuff, but just from prior experience, I remember I actually had that same exact cinema display, and it actually just stopped working on me one day very randomly. So even though they were only asking $12.49, I didn't even go ahead and take a chance on this. Probably should have, but at the same time, like I said, anytime I did find these in the past, and it happened to myself as well, these usually were not working. And if it did work, it would have sold for maybe $60. Probably could have sold it for parts, but I'm trying not to do too many projects, so I just decided to go ahead and just put that back on the shelf. But still a nice find nonetheless. Here was an Amazon Kindle, and as soon as I seen this, I already knew what it was, because I come across some of these Amazon Kindles pretty often. These are selling for right around $25 to $30, so they were asking $15 for this one, so it wasn't worth it to pick up. But I've sold this Amazon Kindle pretty often, but it just depends on the price point. So for 15 bucks, it didn't make any sense. And here was a baseball glove. I don't pick up too many baseball gloves because some of them just aren't worth anything. But this one in particular, the SG76, was selling for right around 40 bucks, sometimes a little more if it's in really good condition. And this one was in pretty good shape, so I was able to sell that one already for 40 bucks. So here was another interesting find. Came up on a pair of Space Jams, the pair of Jordan 11s. As soon as I picked them up, I seen that the front was kind of peeling. That's pretty normal, especially for a shoe of this age. But overall, they were in pretty good shape, not terrible. And I'm pretty sure these are legit, only because, of course, the carbon fiber on the bottom and that size tag on the inside all looks pretty legitimate to me. Drop a comment if you guys think these were fake, but ended up passing on these nonetheless, because once I seen the other shoe that was in the back, it was completely just separated, and it looked like the person tried to crazy glue it, but it was just kind of smeared all over the place. So it really just looked terrible, but it was still an interesting find nonetheless, but I ended up passing on it. Here was a clean pair of Pumas. This was in really good shape, probably worn maybe once or twice. Definitely not going to sell these for a ton of profit either. These usually bring in about 40, maybe 50 bucks. Sometimes brand new sell for 50 bucks, but they priced it pretty high. But once again, I'm going to be using that 20% off coupon. People always ask me about that coupon, but I think it's only in Arizona and you have to spend at least 20 bucks. So that's going to help me save a little bit of money on these, and I'll probably try to sell those for at least 40 to 45 bucks to make it worthwhile. Here were some more interesting finds. Came up on this Apple keyboard. Been coming up on a ton of Apple stuff lately, so that's definitely a really good thing. But this Apple keyboard, anytime I would find it, these usually always do work. The way how I like to clean it, as you guys can see, the keys were really dirty. I usually just clean it up with some rubbing alcohol, and that keyboard in particular sells right around 35 to 40 bucks. Here were some of these Microsoft keyboards, and I love selling these because I usually always find these pretty often, and even if the keys are kind of worn off and kind of used up, I still sell them for at least 40 bucks. And if it's in really good shape, I'll get a little more, sometimes 50. But the good thing with this one is that it actually included the palm lift, and I guess that just helps make it a little more ergonomic. So for 5 bucks, I had to take a chance on that. And then they had another one that didn't have the palm lift, but it was just in really good shape. And once again, 5 bucks. So the keys on this just looked way, way better. So I'm definitely going to have to grab that one up as well. And just a quick tip, the way how I ship these out, I usually use UPS or FedEx. I usually lean closer to UPS because one time I tried using FedEx and they basically said I didn't weigh the package correctly and they charged me like an extra 20 bucks. So since then I stopped using FedEx, but it is what it is. Here was a Microsoft Curve keyboard. That one I've sold in the past, but since it was missing keys, I ended up passing on that one as well. And when I first seen this keyboard, I thought it might be worth a little something, but after doing some more research, I think this one was just one of those private label Amazon keyboards. But it looked nice, but it wasn't really worth anything in terms of resale. And then I came up on another one of these wireless Apple keyboards, but this one wasn't in as good shape. It was $350, so the price wasn't bad, but as you guys can see, it was actually missing the keys. I guess that was just the volume up key, and it was also missing that little screw piece that goes in for the battery, so I ended up passing on that one. Now, as you guys know, I used to find Hokas all the time, but anytime I find Hokas, they're usually in this type of condition, which is pretty rough. They're not as in good shape, but I should still be able to get maybe 30 to 35 bucks for these. And the main reason why I'm picking them up is because they were only about $6. So definitely a good deal for those, especially with that additional 20% off coupon. But if it was anything more than $7, I probably wouldn't have grabbed them up. And this was another really interesting find. I haven't seen a pair of Z coils in maybe a year, maybe even longer than that. I was used to sell these shoes for maybe around 80 to 100 bucks when I could find them in really good shape. As you guys can see, these are kind of dirty and definitely has some yellowing on the midsole, so that's definitely going to affect the price overall. But I definitely should still be able to sell these for maybe 40, maybe 45 to 50 bucks once I get these all cleaned up and good to go. But for that price, for $4, I'm definitely going to take a chance on these. Alright, y'all, that's all I have for today's video. So if you guys haven't already, make sure that you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you guys are interested in any of the consistency tees, I got a bunch of different colors in stock, so make sure you guys hit that first link in the description. And also, don't forget to use code consistency10 for 10% off your order. And I think I'm still running that sale as well, where the shirts are a little more cheaper than they usually are. So if you guys are interested, now is the best time to grab them up. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
For the winner, cause you felt like you was losing, only for the winner. Move just to keep from cooling, like only for the winner, only for the winner, only for the winner. Boy, my heart is cold, I should've never offered it. I'm tight and now I'm off this shit. You should wanna be a real one. Earn the bass is hard, I still